G'day viewers. Well, I've had a few people ask me for advice about making personal video blogs, talking to the camera, how do you do it, how do you know what to do. Apparently some people find it hard, including some young lass by the name of Lisa. I don't really know her. I think she's just starting out on YouTube, but she said she found it hard. And a few other people have messaged me asking me for tips, so I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. How to make the personal videos. A lot of people mistakenly used the term vlog. That's wrong. I'll link you to a video of mine that explains why the correct term is Yologging. But we'll leave that for there, and I'll just tell you how I think you can do it a bit better if that's what you're interested in doing. Step 1. Know what you're going to say. That might sound a little bit obvious, but you don't have to watch many people's videos to realise that a lot of people set the camera rolling with no clear idea what they're going to do. The most common word used is and the most common sound is silence between sentences when they're trying to think of something else to say. I'm not saying you have to script your video, although that's not a terrible idea, but maybe just write a few notes down. Oh, and one note of warning, if you are going to fully script something, don't read from the script. Everyone can tell you're reading a script, and it's just stilted and boring. Write something out so you've got all the ideas clear in your mind of what you're going to do, and then shoot a video. Now, first contentious point. Editing is your friend. That doesn't seem like a contentious thing to say to me, but I watch enough of the videos around the place to know there are some people who treat the video blogging as some sort of religion, and they prescribe a whole series of rules about what you've got to do to be real. You know, it's got to be a continuous stream, not scripted, not edited. Really, if you want to go down that sort of path and constrain yourself to that extent, knock yourself out. But I, for one, am going to ignore you. My recommendation is do what works. If you happen to be able to do long streams of consciousness talking and keep it relatively interesting, go for it. But I'm going to stick my neck out here. Most people who do that aren't interesting. Nowhere near as interesting as they think they are. Now, there's a kind of interest in just getting a look into someone's personal life, and it's sometimes tolerable to sit through what essentially is not a very entertaining video just to get a window into someone's life. But if someone's life is that interesting that even a boring video can make you watch through it, how much better would it be if there was a little bit of effort put into that video to make it less boring? I'm not saying you have to go in for flashy jump cuts. Some people really like making videos that way. Some people are really good at putting that sort of thing together. Personally, I don't use it all that often. Every now and then, the added impact is a pretty good thing though. But again, whatever works for you. Don't let other people define what you have to do. Listen to people, take in their ideas, but do what works for you. And a lot of people want to know, how can they make their videos more interesting so people will want to watch them? Well, here's my tip. Start off by doing something, talking about something that's interesting to you. Everyone tries to pick what's the hot topic of the day, and sure, that works, but if you're not actually interested in it, it is harder to make the video more engaging and more interesting to watch. For me, this is another be true to yourself thing. If you make videos on topics that you don't care about just because you think you'll get lots of people to watch you, maybe it'll work, and I've certainly seen it work. How do I know some of the people who are successful don't get into what they're doing? You can see it in their cold, dead eyes. Presentations stylized, they're very samey whenever they do things, and there's no soul, there's no feeling. When you watch them for a while, you realise they actually don't care about what they're talking about. A personal favourite presenter of mine is Michael Buckley from the What the Buck show. He's certainly not the only person doing showbiz gossip, but when I watch him, I know he loves the subject. Even when he's ripping on some of the people, he feels for the people involved. He's having fun with it, he's engaged with it. And the additional life that gives to his video really sets him apart. Now, I personally think the showbiz gossip thing is a little bit overcrowded now, but if that's your thing, then do your thing. If your thing happens to be sport, do that. If your thing happens to be politics, do that. If your thing happens to be art, do that. But talk about something that interests you, that excites you, that really gets you going, because that is going to communicate to other people. Another question I get asked is how to start. And I understand what people are saying. Just getting going can be really daunting. Here's my advice. Switch the camera on. See what happens. You don't have to be making videos. You don't have to make them all the time. You don't have to feel compelled to keep to a particular cycle. Do it for yourself. So it sounds a bit weird possibly, but the best way to start is start. Sitting around and thinking about it, you're never going to get anything done. What you start with might not be perfect, but you've done something. There's something you can build from that you can get feedback on. So just do it. Switch the camera on. Another little tip, take your camera with you. Sure, making videos in your home is probably easier, but if you have the mobility, if you're not stuck with a webcam, take one with you. Even if you don't have a specific plan on shooting a video, sometimes inspiration strikes when you're out and about. And there's nothing as frustrating as thinking, oh, if I'd had a camera with me then that would have been magic. I had the inspiration there and then and it just didn't seem as good later on. If you're able to, take a little camera with you. It doesn't have to be a flash camera, even if it's just a digital camera that can shoot video as a backup, something that you can carry in your pocket. Do it. Hell, mobile phones are getting to the stage where they're better than a lot of cameras. I'm looking at getting a new one that does 5 megapixel stills and shoots passable quality video. You'll be seeing something from that soon. So there are so many opportunities for having something with you when you're out and about. Just do it. Get into the habit of having a camera with you if that is at all possible, and do something unusual. Do it in the great outdoors. For anyone interested, I'm just on the edge of the Melbourne CBD doing this. Now, I've often shot videos in amongst people, which is a bit of a hoot, the kind of looks you get from people when you talk to a camera in the middle of a crowd of people. But I actually specifically chose a place, car park rooftop at Federation Square, that I knew would have no people in it. So I got to do it in peace and quiet without feeling self-conscious. But hey, do it in the middle of crowds of people sometimes. That can be really funny. And that's another thing. There are people who will argue to their blue in the face, personal Yologging has to be just one person talking to a camera. I don't agree. You can get other people to do it with you. You can do shots, cutaways, just to provide a bit of variety. As strange as this may sound, a little counterintuitive, say a video of yourself talking is not all about you. You wouldn't be doing it if you didn't want an audience. So think of that audience. What could you do to spice things up to keep them interested? So don't be scared of variety. Don't think you have to follow a particular formula. Hell, don't think you have to listen to a word I said in this video. I'm just throwing out ideas. I don't condemn someone to the seventh circle of hell because they do things in a different style to me. But get your own style, whatever that may be. It's a fun ride, this internet thing. And right now, we have options for communication that have literally never existed in human history. Now, that's something worth taking advantage of. So get in and get started if that's what you're inspired to do. The way you start probably won't be the way you continue. You'll adapt, you'll evolve, you'll change, your audience will change, and you'll adapt to that. But just get in and get started, because you'll never know if you don't give it a go. That was so cheesy. There's no way I'm finishing on that. I'll finish with a summary. If you're going to get going with Yologging, think about it. Think about what it is you want to say. Whether that means writing a full script or writing some points down or just playing it over and over in your head before you shoot it. That's actually how I do it. I hardly ever write things down, but I do play the dialogue over and over in my head till I'm comfortable with the things I want to say. Don't be scared of editing. You don't have to if you don't want to, but honestly, I think edited videos are more engaging than unedited videos. Talk about something that means something to you, preferably something you're passionate about. If you're passionate about it, that's going to translate to your audience and it's going to make people want to watch you more. Finally, don't be scared to just get in there and try. If you don't start, you'll never know whether it's going to work for you. So get in there, try a few things, see what works for you and see what works for your audience. Most of all, have fun.